My brother's fiancée and her family are pissed at me for not wanting to host her brother for the weekend that they're getting married, but it's because I'm not stupid and they want a free babysitter. Posted by u/aggressivebet1188. So, I, 42F, have been asked to host part of my brother's Brian, 38M, fiancé's family for their upcoming wedding next weekend. We'll call the fiancée Diane, she's 39F. They've been together almost 5 years. First of all, my brother isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. He has fallen for lie after lie, and still doesn't really see the lies, and years of her fake persona and manipulative behavior. For example, she lied that she couldn't get pregnant in the beginning, literally said her uterus had been removed, then why are you having a period, psycho? They now have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Still, these were miracle pregnancies. She told him they were ectopic tube pregnancies. Apparently, my brother cannot use Google, nor does he believe countless family and friends who told him this was impossible to give birth from an ectopic pregnancy. He works a lot and never was able to get to an OB appointment, and even if he did, he likely wouldn't have asked the doctor. In the end, he said he loves her and it doesn't matter. Okay, dude. Fine. We'll be happy for you and our new nephews. Needless to say, I am, and much of our family are, not fond of Diane. She is a user of the highest order, disposing of people like Kleenex once their usefulness has expired. I've watched her manipulate my parents, my brother, my sister, her own friends and family. It's just been gross when I've had to deal with her at family holiday events, weddings, funerals. Just ew. Now, they are finally getting married next weekend. They've been planning this for about 6 months as she is a huge Halloween fanatic, but doesn't want to share her anniversary with Halloween Day. It's not a huge event, about 50 people, mostly our family and some of hers. Her brother, his wife, and 4 kids cannot afford a hotel. This is something Diane has known about for months, but just asked me last night if they could stay with us since I have the biggest house. This is an unreasonable, and undesirable, situation for me for a multitude of reasons. 1. I live almost 3 hours away from the venue and the town they will be hosting events such as final dress fittings, rehearsal dinner, bachelor and bachelorette parties. That will be a lot of back and forth for them, especially since my kids and I, plus my +1, are only invited to the wedding and reception. They couldn't even carpool with us because we aren't attending those events. 2. Kids under 13 are not invited to the wedding or reception, assuming all the adults, and my teens, will be at the wedding. Who's going to watch their kids, 1, 4, 5, and 9, and where will they go during the festivities? My kids are attending their uncle's wedding. We're going to support my brother and see our other family members. So, if the plan is to see if I or one of my kiddos, 17, 16, and 15, will do it, the answer is no. 3. I have met these people once in passing. I know nothing about them at all, and if they're anything like their sister, well, I don't want to. Aside from that, there's the whole trusting strangers in my home with my kids, as well. Nope. 4. Why exactly can't they stay with Diane's parents? They have a 3-bedroom home and live alone. Why can't they host their son and grandchildren? Answer: he and his dad don't get along, and since her dad is the only decent person in her family that I have met and liked, that's a red flag for me. I told Diane and my brother that I really am not comfortable with this, and the response was please. It's family. Ugh. My boyfriend, weird to say BF at my age, said he would stay with us all weekend if I was uncomfortable having them there alone, and would help out since I will also be expected to properly host, which means cooking for everyone, etc. That's great, and would help with the uncomfortable part, for sure. But even still, aside from the trust issues I have, I am primarily worried about where their kids will be during everything. The response was we're still figuring that out. After that, I doubled down on the no since I have visions of them saying the 9-year-old could babysit 1, 4, and 5-year-old at my house. My family is 50-50 on me being a jerk about it, and Diane's family, except her parents, also think I'm being a jerk since it is just one weekend, and I usually host all the holidays and such. They say I am being a snob about it, and I'm out of touch because I cannot appreciate their financial struggles. Jesus Christ, up until a decade ago, I was exactly in their shoes monetarily. I don't care that they don't have Bezos money. I care that they are strangers. Someone in my house will likely be expected to babysit and miss the ceremony or be expected to babysit all weekend while their parents are out partying, and the fact that there is family tension between them and their parents is giving me anxiety about what I can expect from my potential guests. Am I being a jerk? /relevant comments. Commenter: you are absolutely not the jerk here, and I wouldn't let them into my house either. What if the kids steal your jewelry? What's to prevent the adults from going through your papers and stealing your identity? Best case scenario is that they eat everything in your house, drink all your alcohol, and leave you a major mess to clean up. It's your home. If they're struggling so much financially, why are they coming? It's one thing to host an adult couple, But this is a whole pack of people who will expect you to host, and pay their way, and probably use your car. Why aren't the grandkids staying with Diane's parents, if the issue is with the son? There's something fishy here. These are complete strangers whose own family don't want to host them. Why should you? Stand your ground, lady. No means no. And maybe the family members who don't like your decision can take them in. Ops response. I agree with all of this, and it's why the situation is giving me pause. I have even considered offering to pay for 2 hotel rooms for them near the wedding venue, but I know that will get twisted back around to me being a terrible person who is above her family or some crap, or likely set a precedent that I'll pay for things and solve their problems. Commenter 2. Save your money. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Op adds an edit to her post. I have been getting bombarded with calls and texts from Diane and my brother, which I ignored until about an hour ago. I calmly asked, "What's up?" When I answered, I could hear the panic in her voice as she rushed to berate me for being so cruel while she had so much else to deal with. Lady, I work full-time, travel for work, have 2 kids playing high school football, have 2 kids who have part-time jobs, and I am a single mom. I don't exactly have an easy schedule and free time myself. She went on to say that she had been so sure that I would be willing to help, read, babysit her family that no one else wants around. It seems that she already promised them they could stay in the pool house. Let's be clear, the pool house has a bathroom, a large living area, and a tiny kitchenette. It's barely the size of a primary bedroom, let alone big enough for 6 people. It's not some extravagant space. I told her, sorry, but that's not my problem. You should have asked first. I also have the kids and I booked at the XYZ hotel because I plan to drink at the wedding, and I'm not driving home after that. How did you plan to get them to my house anyway? Are they renting a car? Who's babysitting? Why can't your parents take the kids if the issue is with your brother? Why would he bring them if he couldn't afford it anyway? This is some seriously poor planning. I fired those questions off at her like bullets out of a gun. She said this was dumped on her, and she was stuck. I said, so you thought I was the best choice to dump this on to take it off your plate? We aren't exactly close, Diane. Please stop asking me, I'm not going to do this for you. My answer is final. Sorry, not sorry. We're uninvited to the wedding. Mamau. I don't believe my brother will allow that, but if it comes to pass that we don't get to go, good riddance. Update 1 week later. So, my soon-to-be sister-in-law called me and invited us back to the wedding today. Wedding is Saturday. I could tell it was a very forced action on her part, not an ounce of sincerity in her apology nor any mention that she was in the wrong save for overreacting in the heat of the moment. I had already spoken to my kiddos about what they wanted to do and their thoughts on it if they were to re-invite us, and they were of the same mindset as me, F that. So we made other plans for the weekend. I passed this along to her and she had the audacity to say, oh well, then you guys can babysit, right? I literally laughed and told her to F off. She started crying and saying that I never gave her a chance, I've always been so mean to her, and she doesn't know what she's ever done to me. Blah blah blah. I, not so gently, acknowledged that I never gave her the opportunity to pull the wool over my eyes because I am smarter than her, but I have watched her quietly manipulate almost everyone in my family in some way or another. My brother is angry with her because we're not coming, and it was her responsibility to make it right, and she completely blew it. To be fair, my brother hasn't communicated to me once personally about the incident, and that kinda pisses me off, too. Like, you couldn't tell me you don't feel the same, and you would like us to come? I've got my dad saying, of course he wants you guys there. He is so pissed at Diane. Yeah. Sure, Pops. So, that's all folks. We'll be spending our weekend at the Michigan vs. Michigan State football game and tailgating with the best fans in the state. #hail #GoBlue. Top/relevant comments. Downvoted commenter. Other than saying she didn't believe she could have children over 5 years ago, which really is none of your business, how has she caused family drama? How has she manipulated people? You're not the jerk because you can decide who can and can't stay at your house, but you do come off as a cold BTCH who probably didn't give her a chance. Ops response. This isn't a she didn't believe she could have them and lucked out type of situation. She baby-trapped my brother by saying she had her uterus removed. No one without a uterus can ever get pregnant, and an ectopic pregnancy is a 1 in a million fallopian tube pregnancy that results in the death of the fetus and possible death for the mother. Neither of these things are possible at all. There was no misunderstanding, she lied and manipulated him. None of my business? Maybe not, but it surely shows the type of person she is. I did give her an honest try. She wasn't my cup of tea for sure, but I didn't give up on her until the baby drama and all that has transpired since. She told my parents she has stage 3 ovarian cancer, but her insurance wouldn't allow her to pursue treatment unless she had a dedicated care person. My dad quit his job to provide that for her. There were all kinds of mishaps, he never got training, never got paid, etc., etc. 3 months later, she admitted she didn't have cancer, just didn't want to be alone all the time. So my dad took an early retirement for nothing. I don't know how many times she asked one of my kids to babysit with pay, and then never paid them. Twice, there was no food in the house, and my daughter had to order DoorDash to feed my nephew. In itself, not an issue, but don't lie. Just say I can't afford to pay you, but could you help me out? She told her boss that she was missing so much work because her fiancé is a drug addict and abusive towards the kids, so she takes off the days when he doesn't work to protect her kids if he is high. Of course, her employer called CPS. Turns out she was the one with the drug issue. She went to rehab, and all is well in the world again. The list goes on and on. If she says the sky is blue, you damned well better look out the window and check for yourself. Sadly, my brother chalks all this up to her struggling with addiction, but she's sober now and better according to him. For what it's worth, she's still a crap person. If that makes me cold-hearted, then so be it. Commenter. Oof, well, my apologies for questioning. I'd probably have a much harsher attitude than you after all that. Addiction ruins families. Good on you for attempting to support your brother, hope you enjoy the game. Go Buckeyes. Ops response. We won. I don't mind explaining, but it does get me riled up all over again. Honestly, I'm waiting for her to convince him to move away from the family soon. Isolate him from the voices of reason. Editor's note. Ops says we won because that comment is made after the wedding and game passed. It's unknown if any drama happened at the wedding, or what the sister-in-law's family ended up doing. They probably ended up bothering a different poor soul, but at least Op got to enjoy a happy weekend with her family.